Hello there and welcome back once again. It's time for the Golden Age of DC Comics, 365 days, where I take this beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends. It's been surfing my coffee table ever since, and it's a source of great comic book conversation, the kind we used to have back in the comic book shops. And that's what I seek to replicate here today with you. And so thank you so very much for tuning in. The Golden Age of DC Comics runs between 1938 and 1955. The silver between 1956 and 1970. The Bronze Age, I'm a Bronze Age baby, between 1970 and 1985. And the Copper Age begins in 1985. This is an Abrhams 2004 coffee table book, curated and written by Chip Kidd, Geoff Spear, and Les Daniels. And you can find the description you can find a link to the Amazon page in the description so you can get your own copy. It makes a great gift, and you can also play along at home. What goes great with coffee table books, coffee table talk at the coffee table? Pull up a chair, grab a cuppa. Let's have some coffee. Let's have a cup of coffee together, huh? This is delicious. I use this 365 days book for its intended purpose. I open to today's date. We look at some comic art. We read the blurb, and then we talk about comic books. And we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. We really are. So, and also, how are you doing? Let me know. If you're having a bad day, let me know in the comments. Maybe I can make a suggestion to help with that. You know, I struggle with my own stuff too. I'm a spiritual guy. I've got plenty of life hacks for chronic mopies, chronic angries, and chronic lonelies. So, you know, check me out there. But comic books, fiction, cinema, art, music, it's for escapism. You know, activism has its place, and it's important. It really is, especially with all the problems we have in the world today. But the purpose of escapism is so we can leave those problems behind just for a few moments. These problems will be waiting for us when we get back. I assure you, they will. And but to be a space hero, or a Power Ranger, or a G.I. Joe, or, you know, or a forest ranger, you know, or fighting with elves against orcs. You can be magic. You be fighting aliens. Anything. You know, so activism has its place. Does it belong in all fictions at all times? No. I mean, who wants to be lectured all the time? It's not fun, and it's not worth the money either. But you know what it is? Going back in time and rediscovering these old stories that perpetuate until today. I mean, look at the movies. People are gaga over superhero movies. So what are we doing? We're going to crack the book open for today. It's one of my favorite characters of all time. Whew. All right. It's June the 15th, and it's a slow news day. I'll say it right now. When I say it's a slow news day, that means it's not going to be much to talk about, which is funny because we always find something to talk about with comic books. You know what I mean? I can talk about comic books every day. Obviously, I do. This is Art and Colors by George Roussos from Detective Comics number 100 from June of 1945. It's Airwave, everybody. Airwave. I'm going to read his bio in just a second, so we are all caught up to speed on Airwave. But we got 2 panels with clean gutters here. So this is sequential art. These are meant to be read in sequence. We have a close-up of Airwave's face. And in the second panel, we receive more information that he's bound and captive and looking to escape. So, my mistake. He just stuck his claws into me as I leaned back. They're pretty sharp. Maybe. No maybe about it. They're cutting through the rope. Apparently, he's leaning against a sculpture of a lion. And he's using the sculpture of the lion's claw to free his bonds from his oppressive captors. All right. Getting untied was often the most valuable skill a costume hero could possess, especially if he didn't exhibit the conventional superpowers that would enable him to break those bonds. Airwave, the wizard of wireless, is receiving messages through those headphones, not downloading hip-hop hits. He's not hanging around with a real lion either. Yet a statue of the King of Beasts in a plundered museum will cut Airwave's ropes and set him free to fight again. Yep, let's just look at the art one more time. It's pretty simple, you know what I mean? It's just 2 panels. The gutters, the negative white space in between the 2 panels, that's called the gutter. And it's a very important part of comic books, the gutters, you know. And yeah, it's just as important as punctuation and the spaces in between words in a paragraph. You know, you can imagine it somewhat like that. It's just the formatting of the sequence there, you know. And yeah, it's Airwave. So let's talk about Airwave for a moment. I'm going to read this from the wiki. Oh, because we love wikis here. You know, take it at face value. The wiki is fine. You know, if it's that it is what it is. It's a comic superhero bio. And you have to read it first to make sure there's nothing fishy going on. Nothing worse than reading something and then catching yourself being, hey, this is full of crap. Airwave is the name of 3 fictional superheroes in the DC Comics universe. The first 2 were active in the golden age of comic books, albeit the second Airwave only had 1 appearance. The third appears in comics as of the 21st century. The original Airwave was Larry Jordan, and that's who we saw today in those panels. It's Larry Jordan, debuted during the period, and fans, the period fans and historians call the Golden Age of Comics. His first appearance was in Detective Comics number 60, December of 1942. And then following, and then it just goes into the art team a bit, but law clerk Lawrence Larry Jordan had recently graduated from law school and was an intern at the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office. Noticing the rise of crime, Jordan decided to become a costumed crime fighter using technology. Remember, this is in the early 1940s. It was a different time. Very different time. Technologies that we take for granted today were just being invented, and released into, you know, the popular culture and to the world. And we've become dependent on these things, but back then they were kind of unique. Decided to become a costume crime fighter using technology, and used his interests in radio and electronics to create his equipment, including a cowl system that allowed him to listen in on police reports, and special roller skates that enabled him to travel along telephone lines. He was accompanied by an outspoken parrot named Static, the proverb parrot, and who occasionally aided him in battle, and for narrative purposes gave him someone with whom he could converse in order to provide exposition to the readers. His superhero activities were noticeable enough for a fictionalized president, Franklin Roosevelt, to request his participation in the All-Star Squadron. Larry met Helen, and soon afterwards their son, Harold, Hal, was born. And but this is not to be confused with Silver Age Green Lantern Hal Jordan, who is a different Hal Jordan. But guess what? Larry Jordan is Green Lantern Hal Jordan's uncle. Yes. And so Larry got killed. He got killed. It was revealed in Comics Presents DC Comics Presents number 40, December of 1981. It was revealed that Larry was killed by a man he had once prosecuted as the DA. Joe Parsons was an escaped convict who took revenge by breaking into Jordan's home. Larry's costume malfunctioned as he tried to protect his family, and he died from a shotgun wound to the chest. Ooh, he was also he was brought back in the death metal storyline with a Black Lantern ring. What's a Black Lantern ring? A Black Lantern ring is actually a really cool conceit. It's part of the Green Lantern mythos. There's an emotional spectrum. You know, Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And then there's white and black. And so you have the red lanterns for rage, the orange lantern for greed, the yellow lantern for fear, Sinestros, the green lantern for willpower, our heroes, the blue lanterns for hope, and the violet lanterns are the Star Sapphires. They're love. And you have the white lantern, which is life and rebirth, but the black lanterns was death. And a Black Lantern ring could reanimate the corpse of any deceased hero or villain. And so they had the coolest looking black and silver costumes that were modeled slightly on their original costumes, with the Black Lantern logo smuggled in there somehow. And there were zombies. They were like rotted corpse zombies. And it was a really fun thing, especially Earth 2 Superman, who died at the end of Infinite Crisis. And, but yeah, Black Lantern Superman, so cool. I think the Black Lanterns are one of the coolest variations in the toy box, one could say, the action figures. But what do you think? We're talking comic books. Today it's been about Airwave, the Golden Age hero. His son, Harold Jordan, became the next Airwave himself. He died during Infinite Crisis as well, and he was brought back as so not only was his father a Black Lantern, himself was a Black Lantern during the Blackest Night event. That was, yeah, huh? And what do you think about Airwave, huh? Wireless, roller skates. I mean, I wonder if there is room for him, apparently, in the modern universe. Grant Morrison used him in the Green Lantern Annual #1, and this is following the New 52/Rebirth age. And but yeah, that's all we got for today. We're going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we'll figure out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Please like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. I would love to earn your subscription. Yes, you, comic book fan. Let's talk comic books every day. We can do it together. Seriously, I make daily content. I talk about cooking. I talk about spirituality. I got plenty of videos of cute bunnies eating their breakfast before the sun rises. Yeah, I mean, yeah, come aboard. There's plenty of room for everyone. And thank you so very much for tuning in. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we'll see you in the funny pages tomorrow. Thank you so much. Cheers. Okay, bye-bye.